Our Bible reading for today is the book of Esther, chapter 10. Chapter 10 of the book of Esther is the last and the shortest chapter of this book. There are only 3 verses which tells us that King Xerxes imposed tribute throughout his empire, and telling us also about the greatness of Mordecai, whom the king had promoted to be the second in command in Persian kingdom. He was next unto King Ahasuerus. He was his prime minister, and under him was all governors of the whole empire. Mordecai was truly great, and his greatness gave him opportunities of doing more good. He did not seek his own wealth, but the welfare of his people. It has been well said that the book of Esther is a record of wonders without a miracle. Think of it, that God was behind the story of Esther. God was the unseen power who made it happen that Queen Vashti lost her place as queen, and to prepare a way for Esther to replace her through a competition that led her finally to become the queen. God was the unseen power who orchestrated that the decree command that the Jews be killed by private hands, not by the army of Persia, which would have been much more difficult to stop. God was the unseen power who arranged that Haman restrain his anger and not to kill Mordecai immediately. God was the unseen power who laid out for Esther to delay her request, first asking for a banquet with the king, then another banquet. God was the unseen power who caused King Ahasuerus could not sleep on that particular night, that he asked his servants to find the book of the records of the chronicles of his reign. And it happened that they just picked up the right records. God was the unseen power who made Ahasuerus to read the passage about Mordecai, who had saved his life, written in that particular book. Then the king said, "What honor or dignity has been bestowed on Mordecai for this?" And the king's servants who attended him said, "Nothing has been done for him." What is the moral lesson of this chapter? Number 1, God appears silent in the book of Esther. Yet, God was the center of this story. Number 2, God was always in control, and his unseen hands were in everything for the good of his people and his prophecy. Please read the book of Esther, chapter 10, to get the whole story in full.